Howdy y'all, it's Aaron here. I hope you are doing well. Ever been told that retargeting is a no-brainer to get more sales? In this episode, I'm going to be sharing with you why retargeting is not a good option for your business. As always, make sure that you grab something to take notes with and stick around to the end where I'll be sharing with you what you should be doing instead of retargeting. So what is retargeting? Retargeting is essentially getting back in front of someone who is already interested in your product or maybe took an action on your site. What most people believe is that if you don't run retargeting ads, you'll never be back in front of your audience to get them to convert. This is actually not true, specifically for platforms like Facebook or Instagram or anything else that's built off of a similar style of machine learning. Facebook and Instagram know to a degree, who has been to your site and who is most likely to convert. So when you're running your prospecting campaigns, it will group those people into a cluster that are likely to see your ad again. So they saw your ad and they're likely to make an action, so they get put into a group of those who are going to take action again. You know, when the frequency gets over like 1, it means that some portion of that traffic is actually being shown your ads, right? 2, 3, 4, 5 times because Facebook believes they are likely to convert. One other way people are getting retargeting wrong is by thinking retargeting is only from their business. That's not true. Let me explain. So Facebook knows when you visited other sites like Nordstrom or Banana Republic or some other small brand or boutique site that has a similar product to yours, right? So if we're talking about shoes and they visited a shoe on Nordstrom, they may also be able to get targeted to you for an ad. If they haven't converted yet, Facebook knows that you are trying to sell a similar product, right? Again, the shoe example. Nordstrom has a shoe, you have a shoe. Facebook knows that that person is interested in shoes. So what it will do is it'll try to sell that similar product to that person, and your ad, if it's good enough, then it will show to that person as a quote unquote new audience. So they aren't retargeted by you, but they've already been looking for that item you're trying to sell. How many times have you been on the internet looking for a pair of shoes? Again, use the shoes example, and then you get several ads about shoes in your feed. It works the exact same way. Retargeting is powerful, but the traditional way of retargeting as taught by the gurus online is absolutely dead. Let's not continue to waste money on ads to get back in front of people that the platform's already doing, where you just compete against yourself. And the rest of this video, I'm gonna explain to you what to do instead of retargeting and a little bit more of a deep dive on that. All right, before we cover number 2 and how you should stop wasting money on retargeting, I just want to say howdy. My name is Aaron. I'm one of the co-founders here at Bet Branding. We're an e-commerce growth agency that specializes in helping clothing stores grow and scale profitably online. And make sure that you don't miss out on any of the latest strategies for clothing stores. We drop new content for you every single week. All right, so number 2 is why you don't need to retarget. There are several reasons why you don't need to retarget. Let's get into them here. So as I mentioned earlier, retargeting is likely already being done for you. So setting up another campaign to hit that same exact audience, that cluster that I mentioned, means that you'll only be paying more to acquire them because Facebook and every other social platform has less data because of iOS, just a lot of other constraints. But unless your audience size is large enough, you likely won't be able to even reach the desired audience in that pool of people because you're constraining the platform so much. Retargeting assumes that you have extra audiences. Creating multiple campaigns that hit that same audience is only going to cost you more money and make the platform, I would say, dumber. So we set up a CBO campaign or a campaign budget optimization campaign so that we can give as much budget as possible to the machine to make the choices. So the campaign makes all the choices based off of what you choose inside of it. But we try to constrain that choice. We are limiting the learning process for that platform. Now, instead of constraining yourself, go ahead and let yourself hit that like button. YouTube really likes it when you do it, and we will too. Thank you. Okay, so now that we've talked about retargeting as a whole, you're probably wondering, Aaron, what the heck do I spend my time and effort on then if I'm not gonna be retargeting those warm audiences to generate sales? Don't worry, I have the answer. Since you won't be spending your money on retargeting, now you'll be able to put 100% of your budget to go after new customers. You get to treat Facebook or insert any other social platform as an acquisition channel to bring in new eyeballs to your clothing store. Don't worry, I'll share with you a better way to retarget your customers without having to spend more money. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't want you to waste money on things that don't matter later. So let me set up a simple campaign, really the only ad campaign you'll need, so I can walk you through why retargeting won't matter, and how you'll win in an auction versus the competition. And the setup is so crucial because I'll show you some insight into the CPMs, or the cost per thousand impressions, where I've seen people talk about $100 cost per thousand impressions, or CPMs, or 200 CPMs. So I can walk you through why retargeting won't matter and how you'll win in an auction versus the competition. So like I said, let me show you inside of Ads Manager a little bit easier of a way for you to see why this strategy will actually cost you less money. And since you won't be doing retargeting, you can spend the most amount of money on your top of funnel as an acquisition platform to acquire as many customers as possible, while everybody else is trying to get the same customers to come back at a more expensive rate than you will. So let's jump over to Ads Manager and let me show you what's going on. All right, so now that we are inside of Facebook, let me go ahead and show you a campaign. I will go ahead and create that, but then I also want to show you some numbers, like I said, of the cost per thousand impressions, more so the results side of things after the campaign is set up, so that it can perform well, meaning that like you're not paying as much for the setup. So go ahead and click create. Let me do a create new campaign. We're almost always going for conversions, most of the time anyway. All right, so I'm gonna label this as TOF or top of funnel. You can call it prospecting, you can call it whatever you would like. There we go, make sure that's spelled correctly. We're gonna go broad. So broad is age, gender, location. This is honestly one of the parts in the videos where we never really talk too much about. Don't just guess on the age or the gender or the location of your audience. You should really go out and do some research, because while this strategy works, the time that you save by setting up a campaign like this and focusing on the creative should be spent on doing more research and coming up with more content, right? So it's research, content, campaign setup, and Facebook's a great place for you to spend your money, or TikTok or Instagram or wherever it is to spend your money. But if you don't have the right research done, then it's going to be very difficult for you to resonate with your audience, and you end up choosing the wrong parameters, even though this is one that's more of a basic option. Don't just be like, I think my audience is female and I think they're between this age. So really go into that as a much bigger deep dive. So dynamic creative, we'll talk more about that here in a second. All right, so top of the funnel, I want this as campaign budget optimization. We mentioned that earlier. I want to give all the budget to the campaign level to be distributed throughout the rest of the ad sets in the ads. All right, so $100, I want to make sure that we choose here, run ads all the time, perfect, conversions, nothing else added, special details, nothing. So let's go ahead and click next. Website and shop looks like it's the default at this point. We're still going for website. Website and shop is really Facebook. I think that even say here, like 10% of your traffic is going to go to Facebook. As of the time of this recording, we're actually having some issues, and this is more of like a caution to you of two clients of ours that we're working with, where they have funds that are coming over. They may or may not be being paid out from it, but since Facebook isn't a merchant provider and it can't transact the way that we can as far as getting paid for their taxes, long story short, it comes across as a PayPal payment, not as a Facebook payment. And so there may be an integration or some kind of issue. Our clients believe that they're not getting paid the full amount. Facebook's also offering like 20% discount, so it's incentivizing customers to shop at a discount versus shopping full price. So there's a lot of wonky things going on with the Facebook shop, which right now, as of this recording, I would say, summer of 2022, I would probably not choose the shop options. We may do an updated video where that's been resolved and it's changed, but I just want to give you a word of caution here. So we're going to go with the website. Conversion event is going to be purchase. All right. Dynamic creative, make sure you turn this on. You cannot run dynamic creative ads unless you toggle this. So it says provide as many creative elements as possible, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't really say that. It says provide creative elements such as images, headlines, etc. We'll walk through that here in a second. All right, so go ahead and click through here. Right, automatic placements. We want every placement on. The only thing I do not want, right, so I think some of them we can't do. I just don't want the apps and sites. That's it. Everything else, completely fine. Just make sure that it's formatted correctly for it. It just gives Facebook as many options as possible to choose a destination for your audience and the best opportunity for you to win. So lower that cost to do that. All right, show more options. So this is one that's really, really important. I want to make sure I find here, block list, top exclusions, nothing there. I'm actually looking for the 7-day window, and we'll find that here in a second. They move this thing on me all the time. But let's go ahead and choose the age. All right, so for us, we know that this age range is really like a 25 And actually it's kind of skewed up a little bit. So we're gonna do 25 to 60. We are doing women. And then, like I said, I want to make sure, and it may be different for you, but long story short, if you don't see it on your option here, it's the same day, there we go, as mine. Make sure this is 1 day click or view. Now, if you cannot get the conversions within 1 day, meaning you're not gonna get enough data, like Facebook wants like, you know, anywhere between 30 conversions to 50 conversions or more per week. But if you can't get that, then go the 7 day. It will run an overlap and you won't know if you're making money off your ads or your email or whatever else, because there's just a lot of issues with that right now. You won't have that data accurately, but what it will do is it'll give Facebook more data to be able to give you an opportunity to win. But if you can, go 1 day click, 1 day view, because Facebook's gonna find people who are likely to make an action within 1 day. And if that is the case, that is what's gonna be better for you, because you want people to make a decision faster, especially when buying a piece of clothing, right? Because if it has to take somebody a week for them to buy a shirt, they likely weren't gonna be able to afford it. There's probably other things that are going on, right? That's probably not your ideal customer. So $20, $30, $40 decision should not break the bank. So try to focus on the 1 day click, 1 day view. All right, go ahead and click next, and we will not worry about too much here. I'm not gonna select too many images. We have so many videos on this part of it and it takes a little bit of time, but the important piece here is an updated part of what we have seen, right? So if you guys watched any of our videos from 2021 or 2020 or anything like that, we suggest 10 images or 10 pieces of creative, 5 headlines, 5 primary text. The suggestion now is the 3 to 5 headlines, 3 to 5 primary text, and about 5, max 6 pieces of creative, because of all of the amount of combinations that are going on with Facebook, and because it's lost a lot of data, it needs more opportunities to find the right combination with a smaller group of potential winners. So use less here. And if you need to, you can create another campaign that does another dynamic creative, or use the same campaign and then create another ad set that does dynamic creative as well. Completely up to you, and then spend more budget. But the point here is that we used to suggest 10. This is now updated summer of 2022. What we have seen, less inside of here is actually better, finds a winning combination faster so that you can actually scale. Now, that's the ad setup side of things. Let me show you a very important thing. Just make sure that you choose all of the correct information here, and then put in your images and videos. But let me show you a very important thing here as well, which is a broad campaign. All right, so what's interesting here, right? So we've seen some people with the CPMs like through the roof, like I said, $50, $100, $200 CPMs, even 35, 40, right? That adds a lot. This one right here is spending a decent amount of money, 35,000 impressions, $13 to do so. Same one here, 23, a little bit higher, but honestly still what we've seen for the last 2 or 3 years, right? And costs have definitely risen. And this one's at $12.52, $16.91. Some of these are not like running now. Some of these are like, okay, so this is just copy. That's not really an actual campaign. But anyway, like I said, between $13 to $18 or so is our cost per 1,000 impressions right now as of summer 2022, when costs are rising like crazy. So the CPMs are extremely low, so really low to reach a large audience, giving Facebook the data that it needs. So pay close attention to this part, and make sure that you set it up this particular way so you have a better chance of winning. And just like I mentioned, right, you want to set this up as a dynamic creative to give you the best opportunity to find the best combination, since there is a lot of data that is missing since iOS. And with all of those changes that are happening where we are getting that less data, it was hard for a period of time for us to make really great decisions with our ads. Like everyone else, we were flying blind. We did find a solution that we have been using for all of our clients and group coaching members. And this tool we've been using is called Triplewell, and it allows us to see the actual data coming in from our Shopify stores to give us a true return on ad spend. Now, in another video, I'll explain to you why return on ad spend doesn't necessarily matter as much, but it gives us the true data to make actionable decisions. Yes, your ads manager is lying, which is why we only use the data inside of Triplewell to make accurate decisions and pull different levers within the ads that we are running. So if you're tired of blind spots in your business, check out the link in the description below and find out more about Triplewell. All right, so number 4, when to throw retargeting back into the mix? Maybe. All right, I know this video is all about telling you to stop doing retargeting, and I'm completely behind that, right? But there's going to be a portion of you who won't take that advice and still do retargeting anyway. And for those people, this is what I suggest, right? It's a best practice for the don't do it practice, but you're not listening anyway, but just come with me here. And don't worry, for the rest of y'all who don't want to pay more for reaching the same people through retargeting, I have a solution for you too. But first, those who want to retarget. Again, caution, don't do it, don't do this is bad, but if we're gonna do it, let's talk about the best way. Make sure you're driving a significant amount of traffic or engagement before remarketing. In the past, we would be making the suggestion of like, okay, get in front of like 4,000 to 5,000 people. You want that audience to be 44 to 5,000 people so that you can actually remarket. Now, we suggest anywhere between 10 to 50,000 minimum to retarget, because you have to realize that if the majority of your audience is using an iPhone and opted out of tracking, data shows that they have been, it's going to be really hard for Facebook to find that right person, right? So you have a pool of people that you're trying to retarget, and if it's only 4,000 or 5,000 people, and then let's just say 3,000 of those opted out, and then everybody's competing for those 3,000, and you have a budget to spend and you reach maybe 500, so you're like, okay, 4,000 or 5,000, 300, which is why I said a much bigger pool. We also know that at any given time, only 5%, literally 5% of customers are ready to make a buying decision. So tread lightly if you do retargeting, and make sure you get a data tracking tool like Triple Whale to accurately see where the sales are coming from in your business. Otherwise, retargeting could be a huge suck on your actual investment. All right, before we jump into number 5 and I show you how to remarket for basically free, I wanted to tell you about our free masterclass training. That's a lot of free stuff there for clothing stores that will walk you through the 5 pillars you must have in place for your clothing store to scale consistently and profitably no matter what is going on in the world. So if you're a clothing store and you want to start growing your business instead of struggling, make sure you check out the link down in the description below. All right, so number 5 is to use email and SMS to remarket. The best thing about iOS issues for advertising is that it has forced people to understand their business better than they ever have before. The best way to remarket right now without wasting money on ads is through email and SMS and live selling. Now, I'll put that in order of importance here, right? So if you don't have live selling set up, we'll talk about that here in a second. But most importantly, email, right? That's the lowest cost for you, then SMS, and then live selling. Again, we'll talk about that here in a second. So as soon as someone comes to your website, it's your job to collect information. You should be collecting roughly 10% of the visitors to your site, right? So if they come to your site, you get 100 people, that pop-up should collect 10 of those people to your site. They start on your email flow, and we just start remarketing to those people. Now that you have this information, you can send emails for browse abandonment, abandon checkout, initiate checkout, etc. And that doesn't include the percentage of people, right? It's a smaller amount, but the percentage of people who get all the way to the checkout or the initiate checkout where you can collect information there. You can also remarket people with flows off of that as well. So just however you can collect that information, the better. And as you continue to build up your database, right, if somebody is on your email list and then comes back, right, now you can still continue to market to them. So it's a big pool of data where you can start to run different email or SMS campaigns to them. And like I said, we'll talk a little bit more about live selling and how powerful that is for you here in a second. If you have SMS set up, you can send them a quick message that does cost, right? It does cost actual money, but it's pennies to hit a highly engaged audience, right? So much more effective than an ad could be. A few flows that we would suggest you have set up right now. So like I said, make sure that you grab your notes. That was the beginning of the video. Hopefully you got them. If not, pause here. These are the ones we suggest for you to start. Number 1, browse abandonment. Number 2, abandoned cart. Number 3, abandoned checkout. Number 4, welcome series. Number 5, a win back series. And number 6, an upsell series. There are several more, but those will put you in a very good position to begin to win online. And if you want to be able to copy and paste these flows into your Klaviyo account literally within like 20 seconds, just comment the word automation down below and we'll send it over to you, and you won't really have to do anything except for change a couple of designs in your own verbiage. The other option you have to remarket through somebody is through live selling. Getting someone engaged with you on social, having them show up to watch you talk about your clothes is a great way to engage them and push them over the edge, literally push them over the edge to make a purchase. Think of this as like QVC, but on social media or an actual app. So now that you know what to do with your advertising dollars, it's time for you to find out how you should be running your ads. So make sure that you go watch this video next right here so you can take all of this information and all these dollars that are saved and run an effective ad campaign for your clothing store. All right, y'all, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next one.